Hello, longboarding mom. Today I am going to make lunch. I have been cleaning all morning. I've done the bathrooms, swept them off the floors, laundry is on, and I'm starving. I'm going to make homemade macaroni and cheese. The rest of my family don't care too much for it. My husband will eat it, but he doesn't like it as a leftover. And when you make it, it always makes a lot. So I'm going to portion it out into servings for me and put it in the freezer so I can have lunch anytime I want. Homemade macaroni and cheese. So when they have their Kraft macaroni and cheese, I've got my own. I have been doing these videos and uploading them like sometimes the day that I make the food, and sometimes it could be a couple days later, maybe even a week later. Today is the end of February and we had a huge snow day. I woke up this morning with a couple inches of snow, and that is rare for my area because we are southern Oregon, kind of. I mean, we're in the middle, but we're at the coast and we don't get a lot of snow and ice here. So when you wake up and there's a lot, it's kind of wet and stuff, you want to stay inside and read good books and make good food and stuff. So I cleaned and decided I'm going to make some macaroni and cheese. I hope you guys checked out my short. This video is probably going to be uploaded, maybe a couple weeks from now. So I hope you guys looked at that snowy short that I uploaded then and enjoyed that snow and maybe enjoyed some of the good cooking I have been making, like the crab encrusted halibut and the salmon patties. That was something new that I've never tried. And the HelloFresh. I got those 2 meals. You will see the next one before this video. And I've never made that one before. It was really, really good. So I'm going to include that into my diet and actually try to make new things, because you know what? It's fun and your palate changes as you get older and stuff. So you never know what you're going to like. So let's make some homemade macaroni and cheese and sit down and read a good book. In this pan, I have 1/3 cup of butter. I'm melting it. I've got almost a 1/3 cup of flour I'm making a roux. I've added a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. Over here, my water is starting to boil. I'm going to add some salt to the water. That is for my pasta. About 1 teaspoon. And once my butter's melted, I'll add the flour to it and get it cooking. Okay, I dump it in. I use this to whisk it around to make sure it breaks up all that flour. You don't want lumps in it. This is like the basic for your roux, for your gravy, for your pot pies, for your nacho cheese sauce, for your macaroni and cheese. So I add that, and to that, this is some dried mustard. It's 1 teaspoon. And if you want to color your macaroni and cheese to make it look kind of more like Kraft macaroni and cheese, add a little turmeric to it. Not too much, maybe like a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. And it gives it a little bit of flavor as well, but it colors it that orange color, and you might be able to trick the kids just a little bit. So once you cook this down just a little bit, you give it like a minute, you can add your 1 cup of milk. I'm going to add my milk. You could add it slowly, or you can add it all at once. Make sure you get it all stirred in. It's going to start to thicken up. And when it starts to thicken up, you can add your cheese to it. And I've got 2 cups of grated cheese already. My water's getting ready to boil, and I'm going to add those are my favorite noodles. I make a macaroni salad out of them. I make my macaroni and cheese. Sometimes I like to buy the shells and make little macaroni and cheese seashells. It's so good. And that's really thick. So I'm going to add a little bit more milk. I'm going to turn the heat off for now and add a little bit more milk to it because I don't want it too thick. I want to add my cheese to it. That'll thicken it up the rest of the way. So give me a second. I'll be right back. We are going to add a little bit at a time to loosen it. Like I said, I don't want it too thick because I want it to soak into my noodles a little bit and stuff, and I don't want it to be too dry. Okay. So that was about a cup and a half of milk. I'm going to add the cheese to it now. Oh. Earthquake. No, just kidding. I hit the camera. Okay, so we're going to add the cheese a little bit at a time. I turned off the heat, so I'm going to have to turn it on here in just a second. But when you add the cheese, you want to go in kind of like a figure 8. And that helps melt it in. Okay, that's melting. I'm going to add my noodles. Not the whole box either. And those are going to boil for 10 minutes. I'm going to set my timer here on my watch. I can find a 10-minute timer. There's one. Okay. Let's get back to melting that cheese. I'm going to add some more. Whoops, that was a lot of cheese. So those HelloFresh, those were new to me. I've never bought kits before, never had anything pre-portioned or sent to me in the mail and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. My husband was a little worried about where it was coming from. The food, the meat itself, and even the vegetables, you know, if anybody added anything they wanted, you know. So he was a little worried about that. And I understand completely. These days, we had one potato that somebody had taken and sliced it all the way around. It looked like with a razor blade. So that potato was, you know, ruined. And but other than that, everything else seemed really, really good. Price-wise, I thought it was kind of expensive for my family. For 2 meals, for 4 servings each meal, would have cost me $90. And I can go to the store and get a lot of meals for $90. So there is my cheese sauce. I'm just going to add a little bit more. I've got just a little bit saved because I'm going to put some of that cheese on top of my macaroni and cheese and then put it in the oven, give it a little crunchy top. So it is just a little bit thicker than what I want it to be. I'm going to add a little bit more milk to it. I've made this with milk out of the can because it was going to get expired and stuff. So I wanted to use it up and didn't know what to use it with. It was the evaporated milk. So I added a little bit of water to it and threw it in my macaroni and cheese, and nobody knew the difference. You could use dry powdered milk to make this. So that is my cheese sauce. Oh, and while you're making the roux, if you add jalapenos or green chilies or even the can of pimentos, you know, red, it's basically red bell peppers. If you add that to this, you've got yourself a really good nacho cheese sauce. So my noodles are boiling right now. We're going to come back here after they're done and add this together. I'm going to turn my oven up to 450 so that it can make the crunchy little top on my yummy macaroni and cheese. Got my cheese sauce here, a couple bowls that I've already sprayed, a half a cup of panko with that remainder amount of cheese, probably about a half a cup of cheese in there. And this is that smoky, delicious cheese that my husband smoked up. Yum, look at that sauce. So we're gonna add, not all of these at the same time because I don't like to add too many and then my sauce is not wet enough. If you're gonna bake it in the oven and dry it up a little bit, you don't want to, you want saucy, oh look at that, you want saucy macaroni and cheese, not dry macaroni and cheese. But you don't want it too saucy either. I've never figured out, I can either make it too dry or too saucy. I've not figured out the right amount yet. So that looks like I need just a little bit more. Okay, just a little bit more. We're gonna mix that around. Oh, yum. I wish there was smell-o-vision. You could smell that smokiness in there. I'm going to scoop some of this up into these containers and then top it. I got these at Dollar Tree. Then top it with this stuff. Yum. I'm making one extra just in case my son might try it. He might try a bite. You never know. That's probably about 2 servings right there. But that's okay. You top it with that yummy mixture of the panko and the cheese. And then we're going to put it in the oven. I said 450, but I'm going to do it at 425. So I'm going to put the rest of this in pre-portioned, I haven't decided yet, Ziploc baggies probably, and then I'll just squish it out. Maybe I'll put it in a container like these and cover them up and freeze them because I know they're not going to last in the freezer for that long. So we'll come back after these are done. I'm going to put them in the oven just long enough to crisp up the panko and melt that cheese. And I don't know if you can see the cheese I got on my shirt. I was trying the cheese sauce with some chips. It was really good. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. Ooh, yum. just came out of the oven. It's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna let them cool for just a little bit, even though I want to dig in right now and take a bite. Oh, look at that bite. That is way too hot. Oh, yum. Mmm. Mmm. It's just the right amount of creaminess. That bowl's too hot to pick up. Let me. Mmm. Just the right amount of creaminess. Yum. And the top is crunchy and crispy. Oh, look at that. Mmm. Mmm. Probably the best I've ever made. Yum. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.